Hi, today we're going to be looking at understanding large numbers. So let's get started. First, we need to look at the place value table. Here we have a place value table going from the ones all the way to the 100 millions. So how do we use this? Well, let's look at a number first to see how we could use it. So let's pretend that we've got a number of 8,732,891. So that's a number. How do we put that in the place values? Well, let's look at it. This value right here is the ones. So how many ones do we have? 1. This is the tens value. How many tens do we have? 9 tenths, because this is a 90, remember? The 8 would be the 8 in the hundreds values, and there's 8 hundreds. Thousands would be 2. 10,000s would be 3. 100,000s would be 7. And millions, 8 million is 8. So this is how we would fill this value table, okay? Now, if this doesn't fully make sense, it'll make sense very soon. So let's look at another number. So let's look at the number 3,159,119, okay? So right here we have it in the place value table. And I want to point out that the first three we call the units period, and in the units period we've got the ones, the tens, and the hundreds. The second period is the thousands period, and we've got the thousands, tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands. And then we've got the million period, millions, 10 millions, and 100 millions. So this number is 3,159,119. Now there's three forms that we could write this number in. The first form we call the standard form, and this is the form that you're most familiar with, and essentially we just write the number as is. So 3,159,119. Of course, we leave a small gap between the periods, right? So obviously these gaps don't exist when you write the number. So it looks something like this: 3,159,119. The expanded form we essentially write as additions. So we look at this, and this is 3 million. So we write 3 million. 3 followed by 6 zeros, that makes up a million. So 3 million plus, well, we have 100,000 here. So we write 100,000. Okay, and then we have this value here, which is the 10,000s, and since there's 5 of it, it's 50,000. So we write 50,000. We've got the thousand value, and there's 9 of it, so 9,000. We've got the 100 values, and there's 1 of it, so only 100. We've got the tens value, and it's 1, so it's plus 10. And then we've got the ones value, and there's 9 of them, so plus 9. So that would be the expanded form. Understand that this number is the same as this number right here. It's just a different form. And the last way we could write this is the number word form. Okay, and essentially here we write this the same way we would say it. So how would we properly say this? We would say 3 million, so we'd write 3 million, okay, 159,000, 159,000, and 119, 119. So this is how you would write the number word form, okay? Pretty simple stuff. Okay, let's have a look at some questions that we could do together. So write the following number in all forms. 6,728,901. Well, let's recognize that the question already gives us the answer to one of the forms. Remember, this is called the standard form, right? So it's already written for us in standard form. Well, how would we write it in number word form? Well, I just kind of said it, but I'll say it again, and we'll write it out. 6,728,000 and 901. This would be the number word form. Number word form. Last but not least is the expanded form. And the expanded form, as you recall, is the same number. However, we write it out in expanded form by adding up the place values. So for 6, there's 6 million, so we write it out, 6 million plus 700,000, so we go 700,000 plus this 2 represents the 10,000, so there's 2 of them, so that's 20,000. We write 20,000 plus the 8 represents the 8,000, so there's 8,000. The 9 represents the hundreds, and since there's 9 of them, it's 900. The 0 represents the tens. Well, how many tens are there? There's 0, so we just leave that blank. We move on to the next one. The ones represent the ones, and how many ones are there? 1. Let's just do that. So this would be the expanded form. Okay, let's do one more. Write the following in all forms. 2,305,078. Okay, well, this is already done, and yes, you guessed it, this is the number word form. So they've already done this for us. Okay, let's do the standard form. 2,305,305,078. 78. So let's read that again. 2,305,305,000 and 78. 78. Okay, so this would be the standard form. And the last form will be the expanded form. In the expanded form, like before, 2 million. So we write out 2 million, 2 followed by 6 zeros, that's 2 million. Well, we've got a 3 here in the hundred thousands. So 300,000, 300,000 plus we've got a 0 in the 10,000s. So we leave that alone. There's none of that. We've got a 5 in the thousands, so that's 5,000 plus a 0 in the hundreds, so there's nothing there. 7 in the tens, so that's 70 plus 8 in the ones, so that's an 8. So this would be the expanded form. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed watching.